I've just gotten back in from shooting some B-roll outside. Now, B-rollers can never have enough. But let's use this as an opportunity to start digging into Davinci Resolve, which is the post-production software that I use on PC and on Mac, and even runs on Linux. Now, Resolve is made by a company called Blackmagic, and they are not really a software company. They are a hardware company. They sell expensive cameras. They sell expensive control surfaces. Hollywood movies can and have been made on this equipment. But the software is free. There is a studio version if you want. It does a few things like has some AI tools and handles 10-bit video. That's important later, but for now the free version will do everything you need it to do. It's not very limited. So let's open up Resolve. It'll take a minute. Good time to go make a cup of coffee. Or pour another cup of coffee. Or tea, if you don't like coffee. Water. I wouldn't suggest anything too much harder, since editing requires some focus. And eventually, the project manager will come up. This is where you manage your different projects, oddly enough. So we are going to create a new project, and I'm going to call it Getting Started. And up pops the cut page, because Blackmagic is very proud of the cut page, as well they should be. But we're not going to go there first. The first thing we're going to do is change the project frame rate. If you go up to the File menu, to Project Settings, and in Master Settings, you will see frame rate defaults to 24, which is appropriate if you are making a film for theaters. We aren't. So here in the States, we're going to change this to 29.97. Long story. Just do it. I know, 30 makes more sense, but 29.97. Hey, I don't make the rules. And hit save. Now, instead of staying here in the cut page, I want to go to the media page. And the media page, as you can see up here, shows you all the hard drives that are connected to the computer. And I am going to go to my assets folder and my second series, my Resolve introduction, and here you see I have B-roll and a narrative file. Inside the B-roll folder, I have several files for B-roll already. Now there's a couple of things you can do. I can take this whole Resolve introduction folder and bring it down into the media pool, but watch what happens. See, the narrative shows up in the same folder as my B-roll files. I'm going to undo that by hitting Control-Z. And instead, I'm going to take this Resolve introduction folder and bring it down into this master section. And there, you now see we change the folder structure. In larger projects, that can be helpful to keep things organized the same way they're on disk. So I tend to do that by default. And now I am going to go to the cut page. There's a whole lot of nothing going on at the moment, but I know that the narrative file is where all my spoken word is. So I'm just going to double click that, and you see it shows up over to the right. Let's go ahead and play through that. You can see the audio here, and the little red line in this case is where the timeline is. So let's just play it. Let's take a look at using Davinci Resolve here on Maui, where getting good B-roll is as simple as walking out your door. I thought there were a few problems. But hey, we take what we can get. Okay, so there are several sections here, and I can already tell I'm going to want to cut out where I'm sitting down. So let's start at the beginning here. We'll find a good beginning point, and then I'm going to hit the I key on my keyboard, and watch what happened to the white box. It changed. I've just set an endpoint. This is where I want my video to begin. So let's take the first section. Let's take a look at using Davinci Resolve out to where I want it to stop. Here, out where getting good is as simple as walking out your door. Out your door, that's fine. I don't necessarily need to see myself starting to sit down, so we'll stop it there, and then I'm going to hit the O key for out. Now I've set an in point and an out point, and then I can just click and drag this whole file down to my timeline, the bottom section, and there it is. Let's take a look at using Davinci Resolve here. Now, the first potentially confusing thing about the cut page is that there's actually two views of the timeline at the same time. Here at the top, of the timeline, you can see the whole sequence from start to end. No matter how long it is, you're always seeing the whole thing. And then a much more zoomed in view is draggable below. So let's soldier on, because I know that's not the end of it. I'm going to go back to my narrative here, double click that. Here I am, sitting down. Not that there weren't a few problems. Let's give ourselves a little bit of space here. I happen to know we're putting B-roll over this, so the beginning and end, the beginning at least, isn't all that important. So I for in. Not that there weren't a few problems. But hey, we take what we can get. So thank you for... I think we're going to edit there, out, and now I can either drag this down directly, and you can see how that snaps right to the next thing, or I can hit this button here, which says append, and it will append whatever I've selected to the end of the timeline, like so. We'll get more into that later. So thank you for joining me. We'll pick it up there, in. So thank you for joining me with this quick introduction to Davinci Resolve. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I see you again to deepen and widen this journey that is as deep and as wide as you want to make it. Okay, now that face, I am intending to make a larger, kind of a funny moment. So we'll cut this at the beginning, at the end of where I'm speaking. As wide as you want to make it. Out. Then append that to the end. We'll pick a good spot for the beginning of the face. In. I don't want to go quite to the change of expression, so we'll go out. We will append. Now let's find a good place to start again. A little bit of a comeback from the... See you next time. Before the eyes move off, we hit out and append. So now we have the basics of our narrative. Now I do know that I want to jump in on that face. So I'm going to, in this part of the timeline that has all the little numbers and lines, I can click and drag and move the bottom timeline. So there we are on the face. Now I'm going to click on it so that it's highlighted, come up here and click Inspector. Now I have controls for the little clip that I have highlighted in red. And what I'm going to do is go to the zoom X and Y here. I'm going to hover over where the cursor turns to a little arrow like that, and then click and drag. You can drag either way, left or right, and it'll change the zoom. So we're going to zoom in to like 1.43 or so. There you go. That looks good. Now let's back up a little bit. Hey, kid. It's a little short, don't you think? It's a little short. So I'm going to come to the beginning here, grab this edge and move it back. You see how it's making more space as I drag it? Maybe we'll make it a little longer this way too. Kid. See you next time. So now the ending is a little long, so we can drag that and there. Play it again. You want to make it. See you next time. That works for me. The timing is okay. So now our narrative is about done. Let's go back to the beginning, which is much easier to do up here at the top. And start looking at our B-roll. So I'm going to double click on the B-roll. And we're going to start with the going out the door, because that's the little punchline there. So let's find that. That's here. And good B-roll is as simple as walking out your door. So I'm going to leave the playhead where I know I sort of want that clip to start, and I'm going to go have a look at my walking out the door shot. So I set up the camera, I started recording, and I walked inside to get the shot. So here's the door opening. Let's get it to a certain, we don't need to see the whole thing. So in, Wow, it's a Maui. All right, we'll hit out. And we are not going to append that, which we'll put at the end. Instead, we are going to place on top. And that places it on top where we were. So let's see how it matches up for the moment. Walking out your door. I thought there were a few problems. But hey, we take what we can get. So okay, a couple of things need to happen here. The timing isn't quite right. So I think we'll cut a little off the beginning. Your door. It's as simple as walking out your door. I thought there were a few problems. But hey, I want the slap to happen and then the but hey. So I think I can cut. I can cut here, which I'm going to do by selecting the B-roll file on top and then going over to the scissors. And that will put a cut right where I have the playhead. Drag it forward to right to where I start moving. Cut. Then I'm going to make sure the little piece that I don't want to select it, I'm going to hit the delete key, and then I'm going to drag and drop the other one back. And now you can see here, there's the slap, and there's me starting to talk again. So the timing should be just about right. It's as simple as walking out your door. I thought there were a few problems. But hey, we take what we can get. So thank you for joining me with this. And that other cut at the end actually works out pretty well, like I planned it. And there's one other thing I want to do here. Using Davinci Resolve. You hear that? That is the sound of the microphone rubbing against the shirt. And you can see that. Davinci Resolve. Here. So what I'm going to do is, again, put a split where I want to start controlling the volume of the sound. We'll go to the end. Right about there. Put another cut in there. Again, select the file, and over here in the inspector, there's an audio tab. And here I can turn the volume down. Now if we listen to that, using Davinci Resolve. Here on Maui, where getting good B-roll is as simple as walking out your door. Okay, now let's figure out where we want to stop watching me be a goofball. Here on Maui. So let's see, there's a good Maui shot. It's a little, so we'll grab an in point, grab an out point, not very long. I'm going to drag this down on top right here, about where we want to stop watching my silly face. Here on Maui, where... Now somewhere in that word where, we'll grab another one. How about the bananas here? A little movement here, a little unstable. Then the movement irons out. So in, out, drag it down. I can already tell I'm going to run out of space. So I'm going to go ahead and make this shorter. Make this shorter, right to the beginning of the word. You can see the word right there. See more beginning of words here. It gives us a natural transition. So now we go to the chickens, because we have to have chickens in Hawaii. Pick a good moment where the chicken is stepping or doing something mildly losing. That works. Now I'm going to drag it down on top so that I don't mess up the timing of the other clip. Shorten that. And then we have one more chicken clip here. There's the moment where the chicken starts walking towards us. Looking. There we go. That'll work. In. Nope. There she starts walking. In. Could be long. So we'll start while in. And out. I'm sure that's going to be long. We'll drag it down here. And it doesn't matter if we cover up some of the me coming out the door. We'll get enough of an idea of what that's about. Doesn't take much. On Maui, where getting good B-roll is as simple as walking out your door. Not that there aren't a few problems. But hey, we take what we can get. So thank you for joining me with this. Okay. Now I noticed something. In this frame, the lighting is more controlled because I'm in the studio. And right beforehand, outside, it's very bright. The different camera that I was using overexposed, and I didn't catch it because I was too busy being a goofball. We are going to dive real quickly over into the color page to fix that. So down here at the bottom, there's the color page. And I don't remember which of these it normally starts up in, but you want to get to the primaries wheels right here, where you have lift, gamma, and gain. Lift is the dark part of the image, like my shirt. Gamma is usually the skin tones in the middle part of the image, and gain is the very bright parts of the image, like the little highlights on my glasses and that kind of thing. And then offset will change the whole spectrum up and down, make the whole thing brighter, make the whole thing darker. But we don't want to make it too much darker, so we're just going to grab this wheel down here under gain, grab it, and drag it down while looking at the image. And now that, it's not the same, and it's going to change around a little bit, but it's closer. And so then we'll go to the other clip that is too bright, and now I'm going to use the middle mouse button, which on this mouse is the wheel. You click on the wheel. I'm on the clip that I want to change, and then I go to the clip that has the changes already made to it and middle click. And now that changes the settings of the clip that I have highlighted. Real basic right here. It gets really deep really fast. But let's go back to the cut page and have a look at how that works. It's as simple as walking out your door. Not that there aren't a few problems. But hey, we take what we can get. So thank you for joining. Not flawless, but it also doesn't jump off the screen at you. So now I think we're done. Oh, there is something missing, however, and that is the mosquito. So we are going to go on a little adventure over here into the Fairlight page, which is the audio page. So inside Fairlight, you see the same sequence here. I'm going to zoom in on it. But these are only the audio files. But you can also see the video for reference over here. So I'm going to find where the mosquito happens. So right here, I start reacting to the mosquito and looking for it. So I'm going to back up a little ways. And I think what I'm going to do is create a new track. Here, audio 4. Now I want to record this, and I know in order to record I need to hit this R button, but nothing happens. There's a reason for that. I need to get to the mixer where I can see channel 4, so I need to grab this handle here and drag it out until I can see channel 4. You see up at the top it said no input. I'm going to click no input and select input. Now I'm going to take the microphone and attach it to audio 4 left and audio 4 right and hit patch. And now I can close this, and when I hit record, you can hear that echo. Let's go ahead and mute my audio for the moment so we don't get that echo. So now you can see that there is a level that can be recorded. Back up a little ways here, give myself some room, and hit the record button here. Let's unmute this. And then have a look at the monstrosity. Turn off the record enable. And have a look at the listen to the monstrosity we've created. Not that there aren't a few problems. But hey, we take, of course, the timing is a little off, so there's a couple of things we can do about that. Zoom in. And then using these handles, I'm going to make my audio more visible on both of those. So I can see here, this is where the slap happens on that track. I'm going to take this all the way right to the end where the mosquito gets squishied, and then back this track up and see how that sounds. But hey, we take not quite perfect, so I'm going to zoom in some more and zoom back out. Few problems, but hey, we take good. Now it's a bit loud, don't you think? Well, I'm going to trim off the beginning, and then I get the mouse close to the top. You see this little white square? I can grab that and drag that out, and that makes it fade. It takes the volume and ramps it up. So that's one thing that'll make this make more sense. I think there were a few problems, but hey, now the whole thing is too loud, so we can just go to the volume control here on channel 4 and turn it down. There were a few problems, but hey. It also doesn't sound a whole lot like a mosquito. It sounds like me going. So back to our inspector, we're going to go to pitch, and I'm going to turn this, pitch it up about an octave, a little bit more. Let's see how that sounds. Few problems, but hey, there you have it. That's pretty much it. I'm going to go back to the cut page, and let's watch this whole thing from the beginning to the end. Let's take a look at using Davinci Resolve here on Maui, where getting good B-roll is as simple as walking out your door. Not that there aren't a few problems, but hey, we take what we can get. So thank you for joining me with this quick introduction to Davinci Resolve. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I see you again to deepen and widen this journey that is as deep and as wide as you want to make it. See you next time. Nothing stands out to me. I think this is done. So here, we're going to go to the beginning. At the top, I'm going to hit the I key. I'm going to go to the end and hit the O key. I've just marked the in and out point for the whole video. And then up here, we go to quick export. And let's say YouTube. We'll export. It'll ask you where to put it. I put it in my render folder. We will call it getting started. Save, and Resolve is now doing the work of taking all the little clips and the little sound effects and whatnot that we put together and making it a final video file that you can give somebody else. And that's it. That's Resolve in a nutshell. Thanks for going on this little ride with me. There will be more, but that's the beginning. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.